What's up, everybody? Welcome to our first in the series where we are working on our cigar palette. So we're out here, we got a nice cup of coffee and a couple cigars, and we're going to be taking notes, and we're going to be trying to improve upon our palates and pick out notes, taste, stuff like that. And he's got his trusty notebook, and I've got my brand new cheap Amazon cigar journal with my custom notes in it. So we'll go ahead and kick it off.
Welcome back, guys. Today I'm smoking a Montecristo Classic Series. And what do you have?
That's a perfect cigar for coffee. Absolutely
Excellent cigar for coffee.
I have the Privada Cigar Club Wavy Wafer from Aganorsa that came out way back in, I think it was July of 2021. There were some issues with the cigar, if I remember correctly, with construction and smoking it, so hopefully I don't have any of those. So while he lights up, I'm going to run you through real quickly my process of checking a cigar before I light it. First thing I do is I check it for any cracks, make sure there's no cracks in the wrapper. I don't see any here. Then I check the condition of it. Is it oily? Is it dry? Is it toothy? Things along those lines. Now it's not super dry, but it's definitely not oily. It's got a little bit of tooth on it. You're not going to be able to see from there, but up close there's just a little bit of toothiness. I make sure that the foot isn't crushed, it's nice and open, everything looks good. Of course, because I age mine, like I said, this is from 2021, I make sure there's no fuzzy stuff growing anywhere, which I already checked to make sure, and I take care of my cigars, so that's not going to happen. Knock on wood on that one. I went with my traditional V-cut because I just like the V-cut. I like the way the flavors come through with the V-cut rather than a flat cut. Every once in a while with a larger rim cigar gauge, I do a punch, but typically it's a V-cut, and if I'm having draw issues, I will do the crown, which is a double V. And yeah, it looks great. Smells good. But yeah, so then I'll just go ahead and light it up. If you want to go ahead and talk about yours.
Sure. And the Montecristo is it's a classic cigar. The company is well known, been around for a long, long time. It is from the Dominican Republic. The wrapper is a Connecticut shade, and the binder and filler are both Dominican Republic. It's a nice medium-bodied cigar.
Perfect for coffee. That Connecticut shade cigars I love with coffee.
I also like them with a mild whiskey. Usually kind of an Irish whiskey, something like Monkey Shoulder or Jameson's or something. I think goes really well with it also. For anybody who's wanting a little bit more punch to their experience.
So right off the bat with mine, I'm getting a little bit of sweetness.
Yeah, the Montecristo is known for having a sweet, creamy flavor to it.
So I'm just going in my journal. I just have a flavor chart. I don't do the wheel because I don't know how to use it yet. So I just have a list of flavors and stuff, and if it jumps out to me, I'm going to go ahead and circle. Excuse me. So right now, all I have is sweet. Can't really pick out flavors just yet, but hopefully we'll get to that. So while we're smoking this, can you remember what your first cigar was?
No, shoot, that was so long ago. Back then, I was, when I first started smoking cigars, I was doing photography, and we would get together, the company I worked for, and we would do some photo shoots at Disney for about 30 days in between Thanksgiving and 30 days between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And we'd all stay in some condos down there. They put us all up there. So it'd be a bunch of guy photographers just hanging out. having some drinks, some beers, and whiskey or whatever, and smoking cigars. And so I got introduced into cigars. I had no idea. I was a cigarette smoker back then. I had no idea about how to pick them, what they were. They just told me how to smoke it. You know, the basics of cut this, don't inhale, taste the flavor.
Which we struggle with once in a while.
But yeah, coming from a smoking background, yeah, every now and then you'll get that little bit of a drag in, and you'll be like, yep, I forgot not to inhale on that one.
Smoking and
but it's rare. Yeah. It's pretty rare. But this cigar also, if you're new to cigar smoking, this is probably the cigar I would push the most as your first trial, because it's so mild and so smooth. It's a great starting cigar. You're not going to be put off by the cigar world immediately by something super harsh or super strong. It's got good draw. It's got good smoke.
I would say that's right up there with the Perdomo 10th anniversary one. I think they're about tied. I think they're perfect starter cigars.
I find that with this, I get a stronger draw where I V-cut it as to a flat cut, which I'm usually a flat cut guy. But because it's a milder cigar, and I tend to go a little more towards towards the stronger cigars, especially when I'm drinking whiskey. So I wanted to V-cut it to get a little bit more out of her today.
Yeah, I find because of the shape, the way the smoke draws through, it's stronger, like on the middle part of your tongue, and spreads out. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, it's a fine cigar. I don't know much about that one.
There's a lot that I don't remember about it. So it is a Nicaraguan. It's made by Aganorsa, which also makes the Supreme Leaf, which is one of my favorite cigars. The binder, or let's say the wrapper's San Andreas, the fillers are Nicaraguan, and the binder is Nicaraguan. I believe I'm pronouncing this right, Jalapa, which I might not be pronouncing right, so in the comments let me know. It's supposed to be like a chocolatey kind of darker cigar. I'm getting sweet right off the bat. I got sweet, but not really getting flavors.
I think it would go good with a mocha.
I think it would go good with a mocha, and I really think it would have gone good with like a macchiato or something with the. However, the tasting note said a light sweet coffee. But I think it would have gone much better with like a macchiato, like the dark espresso. And,
well, light sweet is pretty much what you're drinking today.
That's
so
exactly, yeah.
And our coffee today is Cafe Bustelo with a nice French vanilla cream. Nothing super fancy, just basic.
No homemade creamer for me today. I used it all this past weekend, so now I've got to make some more this week. Used it all. It was good too. Dulce de leche. So, I'd have to say when I started out with cigars, the first one I had was right after my sister's funeral, and that's when I realized I really liked. Yeah, it was 2018, I think.
Yeah.
That's when I realized, man, I really like cigars. But before that, I had dabbled in. I mean, like I picked up smoking rather late in life for no reason whatsoever.
Who did you smoke your first cigar with?
My sister's husband.
Okay.
Yeah. We after the funeral, we went out on the back on my grandfather's back deck, and we had it was the Perdomo Sun Grown, and we were drinking Fireball and remembered some of my sister, which was her favorite thing to drink. Surprisingly, it went really well together, but that was also before I became a whiskey drinker. So I thought I knew something, and I didn't. But I mean, every once in a while, the occasion calls for a Fireball.
Remember the first cigar you had here at the house with me?
First cigar we had.
I think it was here at the house, right?
Believe.
Wait. Were you at
It was at James's wedding.
That would have been our first cigar together.
So our first cigar together, Jenny's sister and her boyfriend, they're flight attendants, and they went down to Cuba before. This was when they were allowing flights down there, and things were lifted. And they came back with a hand-rolled naked Cuban cigar. And the Cuban cigars that I've had in the past that were labeled Cuban, get from duty free and stuff, I wasn't very impressed with. But he pulled the cigar out and we lit it, and it was, to this day, the best cigar I've ever had. It was super creamy, buttery, just no sharp edges, just amazing, creamy. I just blew me away. But that was the first cigar we had together at his wedding.
Yeah. And been smoking them ever since.
Yeah.
Collecting, smoking, going to cigar shops.
Yeah, that's. We're going to be going to a cigar shop tomorrow. Got to get him a whole bunch of cigars that we can continue doing this with. I'd have to say 99% of my cigars are from either Privada Cigar Club or Ezra Zion cigars.
Well, I have a bunch. I mean, don't get me wrong, I probably have at least 30 in there right now, but a lot of them are unwrappered. I'm not even, I got them through, a lot of them through the Privada Club review, but I have no idea what they are. So they're just kind of like blind smoking.
I gave him a whole bunch of the Farm Road cigars, which are unlabeled. And I have notes on them, but to go through and find all the notes, I didn't really give it to him for the notes. I gave it to him so if he wants to have a cigar and work on tasting them, work on that, it'll help with the palate.
And they're good cigars to have when when you're having a party and you just want to throw down a cigar and you don't want to do the whole, research and talk about it. So you don't really care what's in it. You just want, you just try to guess whether it's going to be a light or a dark, and just roll with it. Just kind of see where it takes you. But I want to get to the cigar shop this week so I can re-up my stock a little bit on cigars I know I love and some that I've been researching and wanting to try and have heard about. So that's pretty much what it is. Plus, we're starting a tournament of whiskeys. Old fashions. We're going to make an old fashioned in a certain way. You want to explain this, or you want me to?
So I got the inspiration from March Madness, and everybody has a whole bunch of whiskey channels have the knockout rounds with the whiskey and which one's better, which one they like more. I decided to do it a little different. We're big fans of old fashions, but good old fashions. There's so many bad ones out there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and break it down. This first bracket will be rye bourbons, and we're going to make old fashions with them my way. And in the video we'll show how it works. And then we're going to do the knockout rounds. We're going to have 16 bourbons on my side and his side, same bourbons. And we're going to go through and we're going to pick our favorite old fashions. And at the end of the day, we're going to have a champion. And then that champion is going to be put aside, and later on we're going to continue down. We're going to do the wheated bourbons, and we're going to do the American whiskeys, maybe even Tennessee whiskeys, Irish whiskeys, Scotch, Japanese. Islays I'm a little tentative about. We can give it a try, see if the Islays make a...
Well, what it does is it gives us a chance to drink, which we love to do, whiskey, which we love, and old fashions, which if I'm going to drink a mixed drink, that's pretty much my main mixed drink that I like. And that way we can bring it down and just give you our personal opinion of which whiskey we think makes the best old fashioned. Now, to pay respect, based off of who we are as whiskey drinkers, to pay respect to the whiskey and not take a $180, $200 bottle of whiskey and mix it into an old fashioned, which neither of us would really do. It's not what we like to do. We're staying in the bracket of probably about $20 to $80 whiskeys, so they're affordable.
And
whiskeys,
everything's
they're
attainable. We're not going to be making Blanton's old fashions. We're not going to be making.
No.
I mean, although some people can get Eagle Rare and Blanton's and stuff easier, we can't get it here.
Yeah, we got to do a little searching for it and get it. We have to make friendships with the local distributors and kind of get them to hold on to it for us until they call us. It's a little harder to find.
But that's what we have planned. I'm really looking forward to that.
We think it'll be fun. It'll wind up being about 8 shows spread out over the next year, just to get to the winner of the rye bourbon.
Rye bourbon. Yeah.
Then the next year, the next 8 shows will be of the wheated with bourbons, and so on and so on through all the different whiskeys until we wind up with. I think it'll wind up being about 8 categories of whiskey. So we'll have 8 champions, and then those 8 will go up against each other to narrow down what we just particularly think is our favorite. Now, we also know there's a little bit of you know, what your palate's in the mood for, and you know,
And it
things can
changes over time.
So it is what it is. But we think it'll be fun.
It's gonna be fun.
And if you guys want, you can, you know, we'll announce what we're having or which ones we're doing. You can mix them up and join in. And
yeah, hopefully we'll have. Hopefully we'll get the filming done so it's not because we're doing it blind. We're going in completely blind. I should have mentioned that.
Yeah, my girlfriend's she's gonna track which bottles are in which old fashions. We'll have no idea which one we're tasting. We will simply taste the same two old fashions. We will pick a winner. We'll figure out, you know, then those winners will go against each other, and we'll pick another winner. And we'll narrow it down to one out of each bracket. And
it's gonna make for a lot of fun. I make old fashions a particular way. It's pretty simplified. One of us doesn't like citrus in their old fashioned, so we don't express the orange oil on the glass. So other than that, we're gonna make each old fashioned exactly the same.
I would never say there's not a whiskey that I think orange goes well with. I just have found that most whiskeys and bourbons that I like,
I keep making a mess.
I personally don't like orange expressed into them. That's a me thing. I've been to many bars and had some okay old fashions, but I definitely like his take on it a little better. Some people will probably say it's not an old fashioned.
I mean,
it's all but one ingredient.
I mean, old fashions technically are a liquor component, sugar, and bitters,
and a syrup.
Yeah. So.
Or sugar.
Sugar. Most people.
Yeah. So it's all that, just minus the expressed orange.
Yeah. Most people like to do like if they can get it, because I mean we had a lot of trouble finding Demerara sugar, let alone Demerara sugar cube. Yeah. Take Demerara sugar cube, put it in the glass, some bitters, and then a little bit of soda, muddle it up.
Just to show you how hard it was to get Demerara syrup, we could not find the sugar to make our own syrup. So I literally talked to my manager at the company I work for, the front end manager, to bring it in and stock it and carry it as an item in our market. So now we can get it whenever we want and just pick it up from work.
Just for the hell of it, instead of the turbinado syrup, maybe I'll make the Demerara syrup and do a real. Yeah, that's probably what we'll do. I'll make a rich Demerara sugar syrup. That'll be nice. Yeah, that'll be nice. And you know, who knows what we'll be able to do from there. I'm trying to get him to branch out a little bit. I want to get to work on the whiskey sours, but he doesn't like the eggs.
It's not even the ones that they make without the eggs, because a lot of places make them without eggs. I'm just not a fan of them. Pretty much the only way I like my whiskey is in an old fashioned or neater on the rocks. Now, I've been known back in the day to do, you know, a Jack and Coke, and you know, I'm not opposed to those. If I go somewhere and they don't have a whiskey I really want to drink, then I'll do a Jack and Coke, or sometimes I'll do a shot of Jack and a beer and just keep going through the night with a shot and a beer, a shot and a beer.
Yeah, the Jack and Coke. We what was it? I think it was last year when we discovered Ancient Age. It's a low proof, 80 proof, light flavor, made by Buffalo Trace. And we found it to be an excellent mixer with Coke, with soda. We're also going to be trying it with like ginger or Ale 8. Whenever I take a trip up to Michigan again, I'll stop in Southern Ohio and get some Ale 8, a whole bunch of it. We're gonna do a show on different ginger ale cocktails. So that'll be fun.
Ale 8's a drink you can buy up in the North Midwest now. Used to be you could only buy it in Kentucky, which is where it's made. Now I think you can buy it in some stores outside of Kentucky. And you can also order it online and get it shipped to you. But it used to be you had to be passing through that town or that surroundings around that town. And I can't remember if it was Louisville or Knoxville, which one. I'd have to do the work. For some reason I'm thinking Louisville, but I could be wrong.
I think I got the last time, I think it was South Ohio, but it might have been Kentucky.
Right, but it's definitely not an Ohio drink.
No.
It's a Kentucky drink for sure. But we will be getting some of that and basically doing drinks that we call for ginger beer and ginger ale.
Cause I'm not. He likes the ginger beer. I don't particularly like ginger beer. The other day I made tried to think of what I made the other day, and had ginger beer, and did not like it. Didn't like it at all. So definitely ginger ale in the ale 8's definitely going to be something that I try. Looks like it might be a little dry. It might be why it's cracking.
It is. I noticed it was cracking earlier. There's not much I can do about it.
We're also going through some crazy weather here in South-ish Florida. Going cold, warm. I mean, it's morning time and it's already 80 degrees, and I've been enjoying the cooler weather, and it seems like, you know, Mother Nature doesn't want me to enjoy it. So it's heated up already. Hopefully we get another cold front coming through, I think, next week.
Yeah. This one, the binder is just starting to crack along the edge, but as long as it doesn't get too bad, I can still smoke it just fine.
We're going to talk in another video about accessories and stuff, and stuff that we can do to help that. Well, we're going to test some stuff. I've got a couple ideas for that. But getting back to cigars, tomorrow we're going to be going to a cigar shop that we stayed away from for years. So the first time I went to this cigar shop, it's in Port St. Lucie. I'm not saying the name because honestly I can't remember the name. But I went there once. Oh, see, now you're making a mess. How's it feel?
Oh, it feels wonderful.
His OCD does not work for ashing.
I knew it was getting a little ridiculous, but
so
I prefer not to roll them off. But
yeah,
sometimes
I like the long ash. It makes it not as hot when you're smoking it, but
plus I was trying not to mess with the crack.
Yeah.
And the more I roll it off, or
the more it's going to crack. And then the heat and humidity is going to mess with it.
It is what it is. It's still smoking good and tasting good, so it's not that it's bad. It's just a little dry on the binder.
Yeah.
Or the wrapper, I mean.
So first time I went to the cigar shop, I remember I walked in, said hello. There was a guy working there with his buddies smoking, and you knew it was his buddies because he kind of looked annoyed when a customer walked in. Something you don't really expect in a cigar shop, you know.
No, usually they're very friendly. I mean, obviously they're there to sell and teach about cigars, and we're there to buy and learn.
But he had no interest in it.
The funny thing is we both had the same experiences at the same shop, having not talked to each other about going there. Did not know he'd ever been there. I don't even know who went first to the first time, but we both had been there. I actually have had another friend who had been there, and we'd all received the same pretty much attitude, which is almost like we were interrupting their day or bothering. Yeah. Well, it was just this one guy. We all realized it was all the same guy. And it was like we were interrupting his day and bothering him and his buddy who were smoking cigars in their little loungy area. And yeah, it kind of put you off. And then, you ask, I think back then I had not had a good cutter. I think it'd been a while since I'd had a decent cutter. So I wanted to get a new cutter and a new lighter. And I thought, well, I'm already here. And yeah, it's just like it was just a pain. It just wasn't a good experience.
I remember.
And I never wanted to go back. I was like, I'll never go back. I've never been treated like that at the cigar shop before.
And I remember going back into the humidor, looking around, finding some things. And I mean, I was brand new, so I was just looking for stuff that I could find. I remember specifically, I was looking for a cigar called the Rojas Street Taco. And I didn't know it was not something you find in stores all around. I just had heard people talking about it. So I'm looking around at cigars, and I remember he walked in, he kind of flung the humidor door open. He goes, "What are you looking for?" And I was like, just browsing. And he's like, "All right, if you have any questions, just, yeah." And he walked out. Never had that experience since or before. So it really turned us off to going back there again. And for years we didn't go back. I think it was like 3 years. 4 years we didn't go back.
And we haven't actually been back since. I don't think.
Yeah,
no, you went back
yeah.
once and ran into the manager.
Yeah, so I went back because we were going to have a cigar night, and the boys, our sons, they're not really cigar smokers. So I wanted to get some lighter cigars, some Connecticut, some smaller ones, and walked in there, and as soon as I walked in, this guy just put his cigar down and walked over, and he was like, "Hey, how you doing? Welcome, blah, blah, blah." Super friendly, super nice, and I was kind of surprised because that's not what I was used to experiencing there. And I think he saw it on my face. And he's like, "You've been here before, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's been a long time because he's like, "Let me stop you right there. That asshole is never coming back." So apparently it was a common thing and they got rid of him.
Sorry, I thought I just heard somebody pour in my driveway.
I thought so too.
I believe I did. Oh, my son's home from work. You're blocking his entrance into the garage.
Oh no.
That's what I think it is. It's alright. He can park his bike later.
The Harley Davidson.
Because we're, of course, in our garage cigar lounge.
Our $5 million garage cigar lounge.
But the thing is after we had gotten turned away from that place just because of just distaste for it, we had found a place a little north of us in Fort Pierce. Excellent cigar shop. And I think what drove you back to the one out in St. Lucie West was the fact that the one in Fort Pierce closed right at the end of the COVID time, I think it was, or maybe just after. It had closed up. Now, I don't know if they moved or closed. I never saw any signs saying, and I can't seem to find them.
The other thing is, because I'm a member of the Privada Cigar Club, they have a program called the Limited Cigar Association where they send cigars to brick and mortars to try to bring more Privada customers, because Privada is only online. So they have the online store, but they want to drive people to brick and mortars as well, support, especially in COVID, during COVID when people weren't going and people needed the business. And the one in Fort Pierce was an LCA. So we went there to check it out, and man, it was nice. I mean, great attitude. The guys were knowledgeable. They talked to us. They joked with us. They offered to, have a seat, smoke a cigar with us. We didn't have time, but it was, after that, we were like, yeah, we're never going to have to go back to the other one. This is a better selection, better customer service, better everything all around, and it had my LCA cigars. However, it closed down towards the end of COVID. Now they reopened in another location, but it's a smoke shop rather than a cigar shop. So they have a small, limited cigar menu, but
I'm not even sure it's the same owners.
I don't
It's
know.
just a similar name.
They're operating under the same Facebook account, so I don't even know the owners and stuff like that. So, but I'll have to stop by and check and see. I'm blown away by their old shop. Then we started going to an LCA shop. It's actually the closest one now, down in West Palm. Yeah. And got a great relationship with the people who work there. I only go there I was only going there once or twice every 3 months.
That's a little bit of a drive.
Yeah, and then I'd walk in there and they'd remember me. They'd know me. So it was that kind of stuff. Customer service, man. Big deal. Big deal.
And it's usually not a problem in the cigar and in the whiskey world. Usually you get to know the shop owners very well, especially if you're a buyer and not just someone wanting to look and take up space, but if you're actually in there to purchase and to talk to them and find out what they got.
And I mean, we're not big money ballers, spenders, but I mean, when we go in, we have our money that put aside for it. And I mean, we're dropping at least $200 each, on a normal basis. But I mean, that's every 3 months. But we're not going in buying a cigar. We're there to.
Well, even so, if you're going in and you're buying a nice cigar, I mean, you should still get the same respect as somebody buying 2 or 3 months of cigars. That's not the point. For me, it's just that, I mean, I get why some shop owners get tired of people who just come in and look and don't buy. I mean, because that can be frustrating. I know you're at work, you're trying to get stuff done. Yeah, and you got people handling the merchandise.
So, dealing with produce, you got to have people coming in, grabbing fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, we do. And, I mean, we had this one guy.
The liquor?
Yeah, we had the pepper liquor. He was in there for a while. He'd come in and we caught him licking peppers, so we had to ban him and get a block on him from being able to even come to the market because, who wants to throw away all that product?
That's wild.
Because you can't then sell that to somebody else. That's just ridiculous. So you just have to throw it away. Yeah,
So,
but every now and then you get somebody crazy who just wants to come in and mess with stuff.
so just getting to this cigar real quick. I remember back when it came out, everybody was talking about burning issues, construction issues, and some stuff. Definitely has some burning issues. It tastes great. I'm not getting chocolate. I'm getting creaminess now. I'm in the second, third. But it definitely has some burning issues. Definitely lived up to its name for that, its reputation. But yeah.
Whereas this one usually burns excellent. It's just a little dry, so it's got a little bit of a hump side. I would totally smoke this again. I have smoked these before. I will continue to buy them and smoke them. They're excellent, especially on a day when you want something mild and, you know, just a nice coffee, easy morning. Excellent cigar. Any final thoughts on yours?
I like the taste. I'm a big fan of Aganorsa. Aganorsa tends to be on the sweeter side of things. And I mean relative sweetness for a cigar. You're talking relative. You're not talking like sugary. You're just talking just a sweetness that you get from it. I'm a big fan of the San Andreas wrapper. It's good. I only have one of these. This is my only one. Now, this was back when I first joined the club and I was getting one box a month. Now I get multiple boxes a month. That way I can add to my retirement collection. So I like it. Just a little bit of the burning issues. It's a damn good cigar. But yeah, we got big plans. We're going to be doing this. This is going to be a series. We're going to be working on our palate. Like I said, for this cigar, literally the only flavors I got is sweet and creamy. I really can't pick out any peppers. I can't. It's not spicy. It's very sweet. Let's see. Actually, in the retro hail, a little bit of red pepper.
This cigar is also nice if you're taking a road trip and you want to have a cigar in the car, or you say you're in your garage or any place else that's kind of a confined space, because it has a very pleasant aroma and a low and a mild smell. It's not a strong smelling cigar.
Last year, I'd always hear people talk about smoking a cigar in the car, and I was like, I couldn't figure it out. Man. Every time I tried it, I'd get ash everywhere and just be all over. Made a huge mess and always end up disappointed. So we had talked about it, and then I had read a couple of articles and stories and stuff, and they were saying how you got to turn off the recycled air in the cabin and roll down the back windows, and if you have like a moonroof or sunroof, to open that. I didn't have a moonroof in my car, so I did that. I turned the air on high, rolled down the back windows most of the way, and was driving back from Orlando, which is about just under 2 hours. Man, it was magical. I was like, this drive, I hate driving to Orlando. I mean, it's only up the turnpike. It's not like going on I-4, which is a nightmare. But man, nobody in the car, smoking a cigar, listening to some music. It was wonderful. Yep. So, yeah.
Nice.
Got to do that again. But you got anything else, or you want to wrap
No,
up?
I'm good. It's good for a wrap.
All right. So, yeah, this is our first foray into trying to find flavors. And like I said, there'll be more to come. And yeah. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It really, I don't know if you guys know it, it's a huge deal. Every like, every comment, even the negative ones. So even if you want to throw some negative comments in there, we don't care. It will help us. So like, comment, subscribe.
And make sure you smash the bell.